back to the Rich Room. My name is John Bettis. I'm the host here. Some people call me Kofi. You don't know me yet, but you will. It's coming. You will. So I'm here with great friends of mine, and I want to talk about life. I want to talk about their personal journeys. I want to drink. I want to smoke, and I want to cuss. I just want to let y'all know that. That's how we gonna get it started. I'm gonna light up first, and I'm gonna go through everybody. But guys, I want you guys to get a great message. Like you got a group right here that is powerful, and you'll see why. You'll see why. So I'm gonna start with my left. I got Tammy Thompson. Listen, she does more for the city of Pittsburgh and for our community than anybody you can name. And you can't question that. You can't question that. To my right, I got Carmen Jordan. Listen, inspirational speaker, entrepreneur, boss. She's a straight boss. You're going to learn a lot more about her today. And to my far right, I got the maker of millionaires. That's the nickname I gave to him. You got Lance Hyde, my man, my brother. You know, and I want to thank y'all for being here. So what I normally do, guys, I like to start out with, just you guys know me. Y'all know me. I want to throw a question like, when I first called you and said, hey, I wanted you to come on a Rich Room Live podcast, come hang out with me. What did you think? Tammy, what did you think?
Well, the first thing I said to you is, what would I be doing on the Rich Room? I'm the opposite of rich.
I'm not rich. Exactly. You know, I'm like, what are you talking about? And again, again, as Randy would say, again, you know, the Rich Room is not about being rich and financially, but it is about being rich in friendships and rich in like resources and rich in helping and inspiration and trying to empower all the people we know and the people we don't know who may be on the edge, young entrepreneurs or someone looking at going to school, someone facing some adversity in their lives that they may need just a word, just a word of inspiration. And then again, I'm sexy as well. So it may be some young, beautiful women looking for a possible suiter. In all cases,
don't start, John.
In all cases, we're here for that. Okay, we're here for that. So your first thought was, I am not rich. What do you want me here for?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
But my second thought was,
yes.
My buddy John asked, and I'm gonna say yes.
I like that.
See, you
that.
asked, I say yes.
I like
All
that.
right.
Like Lance, but so same question. I called you up, Lance, man. I need you. Once you come by, hang out with us. I know you don't drink. I know you don't smoke. Come in, and because Tammy doesn't drink as well. So what were you thinking when I asked you?
Well, I was thinking we were just going to all get together and have a good time and try to give some guidance to the future generation or youth.
Right.
But now I see we're here to find you a suiter.
Oh.
That's the real goal here.
Is it? Man, we got multiple goals. One, yes, a suitor.
Because you're a multifaceted guy.
I'm a multifaceted guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And,
absolutely.
And did I ask y'all, anybody know? Do you know Sexy Red?
I don't.
You don't know? Okay, great. I'm trying to get Sexy Red on the podcast. She's in town on her concert.
Oh.
Yeah, I like her because she is her authentic
Let's work
self.
on that.
She's her authentic self, and I appreciate that. We all come from different backgrounds,
Right?
And her being that way, I definitely want to get on. I want to get her on here and talk about it.
Yeah.
That would be a great interview.
It
would be fun.
I think it'll be fun
and entertaining.
Very entertaining.
Yes.
So Carmen, tell me. I called you. Hey, Carmen, I need you on my podcast.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Well, first of all, I was honored, okay, because I respect you, you know, and I like you. And so I was honored. And so I appreciate the opportunity, and it gives me the opportunity to tell my story and inspire others, and to also let people know that when you're at your lowest point, all you have to do is just keep getting up.
You got to keep getting up.
Right.
You got to keep up. You got to keep getting up.
Yeah.
That's an important message. You know what I mean? Because it's not over. It ain't over till it's over. You have to get up. You got to keep pushing.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's motivational.
Yeah.
So is that what you do when you're talking? You give plant seeds like that?
I do. I really do. And, you know, seeds have been planted in my life.
Yeah.
You know,
Tell me about that.
I have a small group of friends who, you know, my one of my best girlfriends in LA, Shawana Bourdnay, you know, she calls me at 4:00 in the morning.
Shawana crazy.
Yeah. What did you write today? She is though. She is.
Don't call me.
You'll have to have her on the rich room.
We have to get her on.
Yeah.
Shawana.
But it's just good to surround yourself with people who love you and who genuinely care about your well-being and your growth.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm fortunate to have a small tribe that cares.
That's dope.
That's important.
That's dope. That's very important because, again, I mean, we are as strong as our friends and our network.
Right.
Nobody can do it alone. You know what I mean? I have a strong team.
Yeah.
I have a strong team who.
Yeah, I see.
I have a strong team. And it's not by happenstance. Like we talk, it's not by I didn't trip over and find these guys.
Right,
These were people that God brought in.
Yeah.
That I vetted and found out, and everybody has a great role, and we all play our role in our teams.
Mm-hmm.
So Tammy, tell me about you. And I'm always fascinated when you talk about poverty and you know and the psychology of poverty.
Yeah.
That so again, we've talked about it a ton, but tell me a little bit more, because it's very interesting, because we always think that I think we're born into a situation and you can't rise out of it. You know what I mean? But guys, that's really a plan. It's a strategic plan to make you feel that way.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yes, it is strategic. And, self-awareness is so important. Being able to come to grips with your condition is important. Imagine if you got diagnosed with a disease that was curable if you did a few things. Right. You got to do the treatment. You got to do these things. You got to be in treatment. But what do they tell people? I know some folks who are in cancer treatment. Your state of mind and keeping a positive mindset is one of the things that they tell you that will help heal you. It's the same thing with poverty. Poverty, real deep generational poverty, is not just a financial condition. It is an emotional, psychological, and spiritual condition. And even when people start making money, if they haven't addressed the trauma that they experienced when they were not getting their most basic needs met, all of that comes up. At some point, it's going to come up. And it's one of the reasons why you hear about people who came from impoverished backgrounds and come into money and blow it all. It's because they haven't reconciled that trauma. And so people spend a lot of time and money trying to fill voids and holes that were created when they weren't getting their basic needs met. And so if you don't reconcile that, you will blow it.
You blow it.
You will blow it. And it also prevents you from being able to recognize opportunity. Right? So I'm sitting in this room listening to TMM over here.
That's right.
Right?
The maker of millions.
Right. But even though he's given the blueprint, he's telling you this is what you have to do. This is a way to get to financial security. If you're sitting in this room and you don't believe, right, that only happens to people like you.
Wow.
That won't happen to me. Even if I have the blueprint, I can't do it. Guess what's going to happen? I'm not going to do it.
You're not going to do it.
I'm not going to do it.
You're
I
not
have
gonna
to
do it.
believe. And it's the same thing for people who have been in poverty, who, we have a nonprofit where we work with first-time homeowners and first-time entrepreneurs. And 98% of the folks that are coming through our program are people who were born in poverty, experienced deep generational poverty, are single mothers, are working multiple jobs, like literally in the quote-unquote rat race. Right? And you get stuck in that, and you get tired, and you get exhausted, and you get physically, mentally, financially exhausted. And then somebody comes along and says, hey, here's an opportunity. All you got to do is follow me. And people are like,
they're like, whoa, I don't trust you.
It sounds too good to be true.
Man.
It sounds like it's for somebody like you opposed to somebody like me. And so when you're working
That's
with,
crazy.
I mean, it's true. And I'm going to tell you how
That's
I know
crazy.
this to be true, is I've experienced it.
Yeah.
Right? I've been in spaces with millionaires 20 years ago hanging out with you.
Like Lance, you mean?
And,
like
I mean, seriously, and never felt like being in proximity, even picking up nuggets and gems, and I never felt it wasn't for me. It was cool that they were doing it.
Great for you.
Great for them, but not something I can do. So the work, if you're working in low-income communities and you're working to get people to the next level financially, you have to do the work to help them resolve that poverty trauma that is telling them that you're being made a fool out of. You can't really do. I mean, we get.
So you got to address
my
that.
homegirl Mary's in here.
That's right. Mary has to.
We talk about this a lot because Mary is the best real estate agent in this city, in the state probably.
That's right.
Very an expert in the low to moderate income space. It takes a special person to be able to get under the skin, get under the surface, really help people address their trauma, because if you don't do that, what will eventually happen is people will self-sabotage.
Yes.
And the first issue that comes up, and if you want anything good to happen, stuff might happen that's going to be throwing you off the track. Obstacles will come up, barriers will come up. If you haven't helped people acknowledge their trauma, when triggers come up that can derail them from the goal, they will give up. Because it will be a self-fulfilling prophecy that I couldn't do it.
That's something.
Right?
Henry Ford has a quote that I use all the time. It is, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
That's right.
You're right. You talk yourself into something, and you can talk yourself out of doing something, which is crazy.
And all it takes is for one hard thing to come up. One hard thing, one thing that's harder than everything else.
Right.
That. And you'd be like, see,
it's hard.
I knew it.
You've won. You've got almost to the finish line.
Yes. And
that's one hard thing.
That's what we don't want people to do. We want people to realize that it is going to be hard. It's not a mistake. You were the first in your family to be a homeowner. Of course it's going to be hard.
Right, that's not a mistake.
Because if it wasn't hard, everybody would be doing it, right?
Makes sense.
I want to start $1 million business. Everybody can't have $1 million business.
Exactly.
Maybe let's start with a $20,000 business, right? Let's learn how to manage the $20,000 business first, and start to feel what success and what winning feels like. Because the more you help people feel like they're winning, even if it's little stuff. We're working with folks who have never had a budget before.
Yeah.
People who've never had a savings before, and you got to you save $50 in August. We're sending you a certificate.
Wow.
We want to build that up because that is, you get people the little wins, then they get the big
wins.
And they start getting comfortable with winning.
With winning.
And people have to get comfortable with winning when you come from a place where there's not a lot of winners.
Man. So speaking of winners, let's talk about Lance.
Yes.
Let's talk about Lance.
Let's talk about TMM.
Let's talk about big winners. Let's talk about big winners. So Lance, we've talked for years, right? We've talked about a lot of things, man. And a part of it was from the minority standpoint and the disadvantage, that same disadvantage that that Tammy was talking about in homeownership happens in business.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you're a huge advocate of breaking those barriers, man. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, that really stemmed from my upbringing. As a young child growing up in a low-income urban city community, I experienced it and I saw the impact that minority-owned business development had in our community. I talked earlier about in terms of people from our community, some of them might have had a challenge in their life and didn't qualify to be able to pass background checks, corporations. So the only viable means for legitimate gainful employment that they had oftentimes would be owned by the businesses that were owned by people who lived in our community. They weren't able to seek employment elsewhere. So I see the impact, but it's really interesting because the older I become, and my dad used to always tell me many things he taught me. He says, the only way that you'll ever learn about life is you have to live it. You can't learn it in school.
You gotta live it.
You can't take a course in college and just all of a sudden you have to live it.
You gotta live it.
The older I become, and I'm not trying to underscore I'm not trying to say that money isn't important. It is, but I have become more importantly as a man of faith. And what I mean by that, and I truly believe that our overarching goal in life is to serve God. That's our purpose here.
That's it.
Right? Regardless of whatever particular religion that you subscribe to, I believe that's our ultimate goal. So each day I ask myself, what have I done to help give back?
Mm-hmm.
Have I given money? Have I given guidance? Have I used the experience that God has given me? Have I used that to help somebody, and particularly help the youth?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because we're at a very pivotal time in our nation's history right now.
Right.
The decisions that we make as leaders in the older generations are going to play a very consequential impact on the lives of the future generation of our country. What are we doing before we go to bed every night? Have we done something, either give money to someone?
Yeah.
Have we given knowledge? Have we helped? All of these are factors to display whether or not we have been serving the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So as we all are trying to make money, because we all have to feed, clothe, and provide shelter for our families, really understand that, because at the end of the day, we are going to be called.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
We're not here forever.
Right.
And one thing I learned from my dad's recent passing, many things I've learned from him, is that he didn't fear death.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want it or welcome it, but he didn't fear it because he knew that what he'd done is serve God the way he believed God wanted him to serve him.
Right.
So he was okay with death.
Right.
And the older I become, I'm becoming more along that line, because I know that one day I'm going to have to answer to him.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to say, what have I done to help a young man or
Mhm.
woman? What have I done to help create a better future for that person? What have I been able to do through my experience to help give guidance to someone so that they can benefit from it? The more you start to do that, the less you fear death. So I don't want to pivot too much from the business aspect.
No,
But at the end of the day, none of this wealth will we be able to take with us
That's
when we
right.
move on.
dude, none of this.
None of it. We won't be able to
Money.
salvage any penny. What
Nothing.
we're going to be looked upon, what do we do through our conscious deeds,
Mhm.
our intentions, and what did we do to serve him? And that's really where I'm focused on now, because that makes me fear death even less.
That's right.
So that's part of the reason we're here. That is, so when thinking about doing a podcast, it was, I want to help inspire.
Exactly.
I want to help. That's my way of helping. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I know we can reach a much broader audience, and I do a lot locally with the boards I serve on, helping children all the time. But I thought it was very important for us to spread this word so people can hear that, so
Mhm.
people can hear you, so people can hear you. You know what I mean? Because they don't get that. They may get it in one small silo. They may only get Tammy on this side, but they don't know what's going on over here.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I wanted a broader platform, and that's what the Rich Room was really developed to do. So Carmen, tell me more about you. Tell me about how you feel like you're serving. You know what I mean? How you're serving to help. Because you're an inspirational speaker. Like,
yeah.
Man.
Well, from a business perspective,
Yeah.
from my business,
Yeah.
so from the business perspective, I employ the community.
Yeah.
I employ the community. As I mentioned to you, I started out as a residential cleaning company. And so, we do high-end cleaning now. We serve the NFL,
Man.
the Steelers, the Tracy Fosters
Yeah.
of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so I employ.
Yeah.
So in that respect, I'm giving back.
You're giving back.
Mhm.
There you
Yeah. And as far as my speaking career is concerned, I just try to get a message out there. I try. I do.
You
Yeah,
do.
you
I
do.
do.
Yes.
I get a message
Yes, you
out
do.
there to keep getting up.
Mm-hmm.
Believe in yourself. Try hard, work hard. It may not happen today, it may not happen tomorrow, but if you keep trying and if you keep going and if
That's
you
right.
stay consistent
You don't quit.
and you don't quit, it'll happen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It'll definitely happen.
Mhm.
It may not happen in the time frame that they want it to happen, but it will eventually happen.
Yeah. I think that goes back to what you were saying as well. It's from an individual having that self-awareness
Mhm.
and kind of almost like self-love,
Yeah.
to know that you can continue that,
Right.
that this is a path, that it is
Right.
possible for you.
Right.
Mhm.
You know?
And this is the other thing. It's okay to, be down.
Yeah.
There are plenty of days where
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, you know what? Fuck it.
That's
I don't
right.
have it.
You know,
I ain't got it all
like,
day.
I'm
I don't have it all
I'm
today.
That's
staying in
right.
the bed.
Right.
I'm pulling the covers over my head
Mhm.
and I'm not doing it
Mhm.
today. you know, but then the next day or a few hours later,
You're like,
you
let me
just
get up.
get up
Get up.
and you just keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny. So I find the most profound messages in the most obscure places, right? So there was this one movie, a Marvel. I'm big in Marvel. Me and my kids, we love Marvel, right? And the hero, it was I think Black Widow. Black Widow, right? She's in a fight. She's fighting. She falls down some stairs, and she's on the stairs. And then she tells herself, "Get up, get up." She's talking to herself. Get up, get up. Because sometimes you need that positive talk, that positive reinforcement.
Oh, that voice got to
get
be
up.
strong.
You got to get up. So in the morning, I'm like, all right, John, get up. All right, let's get up, man. Let's go. Get up. You know, sometimes you got to push yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, or if you feel like it's not for you, you may be resigned to say, you know what, I wasn't going to make it anyway.
But you know what? And you're right, because I don't care how successful you are, everybody's going to have those days.
Oh, yeah.
And where it gets serious is making sure that you have a tribe of people who are going to be strong for you when you can't be strong. I can't count the number of times I wanted to quit. And I called the people that I needed to call who would not let me quit.
And they're listening to you like, what are you talking about?
You better
we got to do this, and this today. You quit. What are you talking about?
Because if you have the wrong people around you, guess what they're going to tell you? Oh, girl, you should have been quit.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're doing that anyway.
Damn.
Right? Yeah. Because they're not doing it. They don't want you to do it. But that's why you have to have the right people around you.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
You got to have the people
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Push you who know what you're capable of. Right? People who know what you're capable of, so that when they see you doing less than what you're capable of, they can see it.
They can see it. They know you're not giving it
and
all.
They're like, "What, girl, what you doing? Your ass up."
Listen.
Right? Get up.
I subscribe to the one statement that you have to give everything.
Yes.
You, in order to be successful, you have to give everything. But it starts with a belief.
I'm pushing back on that.
Are you?
I am.
Talk to me.
Because I'm old now. See,
Talk to me.
I'm getting to that place where I used to believe you had to give everything. You can't give everything.
You can't.
You got to hold something.
You got to hold a little bit back.
You do. You have to hold something back because, I mean, it's cliche, right? I can't pour from a empty cup.
Yeah.
You can't.
If you have nothing. You
can't. And so if you give it all away, you have nothing left for yourself.
Well, and I think, when I say give everything, you got to exhaust every effort in order to be successful.
That's right. That's true.
You know what I mean? I think you have to do the things that need to be done for yourself, for your family, for your business, that need to be done. On those days where you feel like, let me throw the covers on top. I don't feel like it. You got to get up.
Yeah.
You got to get up and you got to do it.
Yeah.
So with that, what's next? What's next on the horizon? What's next, Tammy? I know you got a boatload of money from a boatload of people. Like what's next?
Yeah, so our nonprofit is doing well.
That's good.
I'm gonna say something. Every time I say this, people get surprised. But I'm working on my exit strategy.
Your exit strategy?
Yeah, because I started this nonprofit 6 years ago.
Wow.
6 years ago.
Exit strategy in just 6 years?
Oh yeah.
Time to rock.
So I'll say this: we started our budget when we started in 2018. $148,000. Our budget this year was $4.2 million.
Wow.
So it was a lot of fundraising, a lot of growth in a very short period of time. And the
extremely
important thing is building the team, the leadership team, so that I can step back.
Right.
Because in the beginning, I was doing everything.
Yeah, you had to.
I was doing everything. I was in the weeds. I was raising money. I was HR. I was emptying garbage cans.
Was everything.
I was literally doing everything. And so over time, being able to bring on a strong leadership team, operations team, so that I can step back and think about, because that's the other thing.
Right.
When you're in constant grind, you don't have the
you can't strategize.
bandwidth to think about what's next.
Yeah, you can't. You're in it.
Yeah.
You're in it.
So being able to step back, like, all right, now this is running great. My conscience would be clear. If I had an opportunity to step away today, I know that this work would continue.
That's dope.
That's the goal.
You build it to that
I
point.
build it to a point where I know no matter what, I can go on the board.
Right. You can just sit on the board.
I can sit on the board and everything would continue and they would be great without me. That's the goal for me.
Right.
And I think that's important for leadership.
That is.
Thinking about what happens when you
that
are
transition,
gone.
yeah.
And that's how you know you really care about the thing that you build.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question
sure.
about that? That's very impressive to scale from 148,000 to over 4 million in a 6-year span.
Yeah.
For many of our viewers who may be looking for the nonprofit sector, oftentimes nonprofits, they're all trying to extract funds from the same funds.
Yes.
Can you give some guidance to our viewers who may be looking at nonprofit?
Yes.
The sector, can you give some guidance in terms of how you can differentiate
it.
your particular nonprofit
Yes.
to be able to extract and
It's
have
the
the
thing
success
that-
that you've had?
That's a great question. I'm glad you
is.
asked it because I get at least an email, a call, a message every single week of somebody wanting advice on starting a nonprofit.
Right.
And the very first thing I say is don't do it.
Don't do it.
Okay.
Seriously.
Don't do it.
Seriously, because Allegheny County is very oversaturated with nonprofits, mostly because people don't know how to collaborate well.
Right.
There's a lot of folks who started businesses, for-profit businesses, but it's been hard to raise capital. So they think the easy thing to do is to convert it to a nonprofit.
Really?
And it's ridiculous. And so I always tell people, stop it, because here's the first thing. A nonprofit doesn't belong to you. It's not mine. It's not my business. When I walk away from it, it's there. I have to start all over. I don't have ties to any of the money. Now, I am smart enough to keep my intellectual property,
Of
which
course,
is a
of
whole nother
course,
story.
of course.
But that
Truth be
nonprofit
told.
doesn't belong to me.
Right.
And so if you start a business and you convert it to a nonprofit, guess your board can fire you today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can't transfer a nonprofit to your
Right.
heirs.
That's true.
Right? So don't get lazy on the for-profit side because you're struggling to raise capital. Focus on building relationships. So to answer your question, what has helped us raise more money than most nonprofits have been able to do in a very short period of time? I'm an excellent relationship builder.
Yeah. It's relationships.
It's
It's
relationships.
our relationships.
Right? Because unfortunately, I hate to say this, but the foundations are not typically funding programs or organizations. They're funding relationships.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
so you got to take the time, and it takes time. So all of this happened in a short period of time, but I've been in this game for 20 years.
Right.
Right.
So I've been building relationships
This is
for
just
20
new.
years.
Right.
This is new.
Right.
But the work isn't new.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm loud about it. And I show up places and I talk about it and I make sure that people understand what I'm talking about,
Right.
so that when they're in their conversations and spaces that I don't have access to, it's always going to, my name is
Your
coming
name is
up.
ringing. Your name
It's
is
gonna,
ringing.
because I'm going to make sure that, because that is the key to building a relationship. Make sure they know what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure they know you're capable to do what you do, and be open. Be open. I'm an open book. I'm transparent.
Yeah.
I don't, there's no secrets over here. I'm not a college educated woman. I'm a street educated woman.
Mhm.
I'm a survivalist.
Survivalist.
I'm a survivalist.
Survivalist.
I like
Right?
that.
Yeah,
I
I
like that.
survived a lot.
Right.
And I used all of those experiences to build businesses.
I love
That's
it.
dope.
Right? Because that's all I had was my
You
experience.
build it. That's dope.
You build what you can with what you got.
Hey, that's it.
Right?
And that in relationships you talked to, that pivots back to what you said earlier.
Yeah.
Those relationships are built from the 3 criteria you mentioned:
Mhm.
people who know you,
Yes.
like you, and
they
trust
That's
you.
it.
That's it.
That is.
And that's the work. And people don't want to take the time to do, because it takes time.
It's work.
It does.
It is
Developing
work.
relationship
It
is
does.
work.
And some of them work, some of the relationships
Yeah.
work, and some of them don't.
Some of them.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be careful, because Pittsburgh is so small that the ones that don't can ruin you
Yes.
if you messing around with the wrong people.
Yes.
Mhm.
Right? So I'm very, very particular
Oh yeah.
about who I spend my time with, who I collaborate with, who I share business ideas with.
Yeah. You have to be
Uh,
careful.
I'm careful, right? And it's a fine line. And honestly, it's one of those transferable skills from the streets,
Yeah.
because that's how you survive in the streets.
Yeah.
You better not be running around trying to be cool with
You
everybody.
better not. It's relationships
Right.
as well.
You can't
It's
run
relationship as
around and be
well.
cool. So the relationship, I think the success lies in the ability to build strong, authentic relationships.
That's strong.
Key. That's it.
So Lance, what's next for you?
Mhm. What's next for me is doing whatever I can to help the next generation.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not necessarily focused on finances at this point in my life
Right.
anymore, because I truly do believe that ultimately what I'm going to be judged upon is how did I express gratitude and appreciation to the Creator that He gave me life.
Yeah.
Right.
One of the ways that I can do that is to help you.
Yeah.
As we mentioned before, we've had experiences. What am I doing to help share knowledge and wisdom to those who can benefit from that?
Yeah.
I can't live my whole life and at the end of the day look back and say I had all this wisdom, I had knowledge, I had experiences that I could utilize, that I've utilized. I had that to share with people and didn't benefit them.
And didn't share.
So what I am doing is trying to identify how can I serve the Almighty as best as I can in the time that I have left to be able to do it. And again, I'm not financially focused. I've enjoyed finances to some capacity, not rich, but that's not where my focus is anymore right now. I'm really focused on making sure that I please the Almighty and want to be not fearing death. That's where
Absolutely.
I love
that.
I love it, man.
That's
So
it's all going to be gone.
Exactly. This is fleeting. This is
Yeah.
fleeting. And so I serve on a number of boards, like I said before, one being the CNX Foundation, another one being the Pittsburgh Public Theater. And I definitely want to bring you in and help with that because, a lot of those conversations need to be had. But a lot of times I can't bring it. I would love to bring you in and have you talk to the board on how to expand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because it's about the kids. I mean, we're where we are, and our time is, we got 20, 30, 40 years, man. There's kids that are 10 years old who need to see a different, who need to know that they're not trapped.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Need to know about opportunities that exist that they may not even believe in it. They've never seen, but they're there. So I want to do that for all you guys as well. So Carmen, what's next? Where are we going?
Okay.
Where we going tomorrow? What's up?
Well, we're going to get sexy red on here.
Oh, yes, we are.
We're working on that. And DL.
Because
I'm going to call him.
as Jasmine knows, I'm sexy.
Yeah. Oh, yes you are. Yes. No doubt about it. So what's next for me is I'm feeling her.
Yeah.
So I'm in the process of stepping back.
Right.
Okay. I'm in the process of stepping back and moving my team forward so that I can focus on my speaking career.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people out there that need to hear what I have to say.
Yes.
Whether it be women's groups, women's shelters, women's prisons, wives that are losing their homes, going through divorce, raising children,
they need to hear you.
Taking care of their elderly parents, all simultaneously.
They need to hear you.
Simultaneously, because that's, and taking pocket change.
That's life.
Survival.
That's life. Survivalist. That's
back against the wall, coming out swinging.
Yeah.
To survive. And that's where I came from.
Yeah.
After coming through my divorce and, losing my home and being laid off from work in 2008.
Yeah.
And I've, and through that, like I said, there have been many days that I was in the bed, I don't feel like doing this.
Cover over your
wrong?
head. Yeah.
I need to go get a job.
Right.
And they're like, no, you keep doing what you're doing.
Right. Keep doing what you're doing.
Keep doing what you're doing. And so here I am with you today,
Yeah.
talking about it, inspiring people.
I love it. I love it. So guys, continue.
Oh, no. So that's it. So I'm in the process of stepping back to move my company forward a notch and going on a speaking tour.
I love it. I love it.
That's awesome.
Beautiful.
I want to
love
talk
it.
to you about that.
Listen,
Yeah.
I don't plan to retire anytime soon, guys.
Because you're having too much fun.
But I'm having way too much fun. And I think that we're just like what you're saying, building that team, getting the team up so that you can take a step back
Right.
and do other things. Like this. This is a labor of love for me.
This is fun. And you can tell. I can tell that this is fun.
This
for
is
you.
in my
I
wheelhouse.
that's
love
good.
this for you. This
So-
is great.
So guys, I want you to grab your glass. Grab your
Okay.
glass. I've done this 1,000,000, trillion, billion times. And this one is very unique because you guys are not Rich Room veterans. You guys received invite. No. Lance is. Lance, you've been here. You partied. So we have one veteran. Tammy has ignored me a number of times. And Carmen, this is your first invite. But I want to officially welcome you guys to the Rich Room.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure.
Welcome to the Rich Room. And guys, again, another great message. You gotta be like Lance. This is incredible, and I feel honored and privileged just to have him here to bring this message to you. So, guys, you see their information below. Hit them. Hit us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I'm not gonna say it. We're gonna keep going. Hit us on all the social platforms. Reach out to us. We want to talk to you. And again, the show is about you guys. It's inspiration. Check us out. Follow us. Welcome to the Rich Room, guys. Cheers.
Woo!
Cheers.
Great job.
Thank you, guys. Thank y'all for coming.
Great job. Your team is awesome too. Great team.
Woo! Dope. I told y'all in advance. Y'all was gonna get some stories. I told y'all in advance. I mean, we had strong stories. Strong stories.
You're a great interviewer.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're coming off the cup. You didn't even write that.
I don't even write that. But yesterday I am thinking like, okay, where I want to go. Where do I want to go with you? Where do I want to go with you?
It was real organic. It was
It's
no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure.
I think it was excellent.
No pressure. Yep, that's great.
Excellent.
That's great.